ladies and gentlemen, Danny Johnson.
Okay. Stop. Sit down, please. Hi. Okay, hello. How are you? All right. My name is Danny Johnson, and prior to getting started as an entrepreneur in this awesome direct selling industry, I was a 19-year-old uneducated female with a background that was horrible. My mom and dad both were drug addicts. My father was 6'10", 350 pounds, and he was a big pile of anger, vengeance, rage, violence. You can't even imagine the kind of childhood that I had grown up with. And I know some of you in the room that probably have experienced the same thing. And some of you may have had an awesome experience growing up. I didn't have one of those. And we've done this working part-time. My husband and I are firm believers in managing your time properly, building it on a part-time basis. We have never earned less than a six-figure income in this business. Never. We've made millions of dollars working part-time from the comfort of our own home, training and equipping other people how to earn a six-figure income. Out of the training seminars that we've done, we've developed many six- and seven-figure income earners as well. In fact, anyway, I won't go there. But anyway, so here's the deal. There's four things that were given to me when my life changed from going from complete failure to absolute success. In fact, I just saw one of my best friends that is here that was of the first 25 people that I brought into the business after my 6 months of failure. Hi, Ed. He just showed up from Ohio and surprised me. Isn't that sweet? Anyway, so here's the four things. Number one, he says, if you give me one excuse, I will not work with you. I said, please teach me how to crawl, walk, turn around. He says, I will do that. He says, but if you give me one excuse, I will not work with you. Just one. Let me give you the definition of an excuse. It's a well-planned lie. Carol was touching on that in her testimony. Definition of an excuse is a well-planned lie. That's what it is. And I had a lot of excuses my first 6 months. My first excuse was that I was a female. Second excuse was I didn't have an education. Third excuse was I was too young. Who's going to listen to me? I'm young. I'm a girl. I don't know what I'm doing. Who in the world is going to listen to me? And those were my excuses. I don't have enough experience. I don't know how to do this. Why would anyone follow me? That is what my beliefs were when I first got started in this thing. And that is why I did not make any money my first 6 months. So that was my excuse. And so he says, if you give me one excuse, I will not work with you. Now, after 6 months of failing, I'm getting nowhere. How many of you know that my desperation was pretty big? I'm $25,000 in debt. I'm not getting this to work for me, and I refuse to quit. Okay, now, that's one good thing that works for me. I'm Nicaraguan, Italian, and Irish from half Nicaraguan, which means I'm a little bit on the stubborn side, and I refuse to quit. How many of you are persistent in here? Yes. Okay. Well, then you might as well just give up now and go succeed. Okay? Because you're just gonna torture yourself. Just go make it happen because you're just gonna torture yourself. Honestly, that's the bottom line. So get over your excuses. Okay. Number two. He says, if you give me, and this goes for every single person in the room. Every person in the room. He goes, you give me one opinion or suggestion about how you think this thing is supposed to work, I will not work with you. He says, Danny, your opinions and your suggestions have made you broke. Your ideas at this point are worth a $25,000 debt, is what they're worth. He says, mine are making me $15,000 a month. So, why don't you first learn what I know how to do, and then once you learn that, and as soon as your stack is as big as mine, then go ahead and give me your ideas, opinions, and suggestions. But until then, sit down and shut up, listen and learn. I don't care what you did with JCPenney's. I don't care what kind of success you had in the past, honey. The reality is that where you're at right now is zero check. And that's how much you know about this business. How many of you know that was harsh, but it was true? Harsh, but true. You know what? Let me tell you something. I spent most of my life as a very insecure, female who did not believe in myself and did not believe in anybody else. So what do kids who've been abused do? They usually are very opinionated, going to show up this false sense of inner security, a false sense of confidence, really in the form of ego and pride and arrogance. And that's who I was when I first got started, especially to guys. Especially you guys. I had a chip on my shoulder about men. So when he said no opinion, no suggestion, I spent most of my time trying to prove to everybody that I knew something. And he was telling me he didn't care what I knew. It's time to sit down, shut up, and learn. That's what he said. The third thing he said was, if you don't do what I tell you to do, I will not work with you. If you do not do what I tell you to do, I will not work with you. If I give you a direction and I say, follow this script, and you decide to change it, guess what, honey? I will not work with you. I had dyslexia, by the way. I've been healed of that since then. But I had dyslexia. And reading in front of people? No. We worked in training centers. He gave me a script, phones ringing from advertising. He says, read this. How many of you know I choked? Yes, I choked. Words would, in case you don't know what dyslexia is. How many of you do know what dyslexia is? Okay. Words jumping all over the place. I stuttered, skipped lines. It was nasty, horrible. And I messed it up the first time. The last thing he said was, you need to go to a training seminar. You need to continually invest in your professional education for this business. Now here's what's so interesting to me, and I think the network marketing industry is the only one that does this. I really believe this. You know, if a doctor's going to go become a doctor and earn a 6 or a 7-figure income, what does he have to do to be able to become that doctor? He has to get an education. And are there any doctors here in the house by any chance? Is there anybody in here that is a doctor? Does somebody raise their hand? No? Okay. Anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000 is what you're going to pay for your education to become a doctor. To what? To wind up with a gigantic debt, a humongous overhead, tons of liability, and $10,000 a month for malpractice insurance. That's what you're going to wind up with. And, you know, on call, ridiculous hours. Can you make good money? Absolutely, there's no question about it, but you don't have a lifestyle to speak of by any stretch of the imagination. But, here we go, 10 years for your schooling before you ever begin to make any money, right? Network marketers get started in business for themselves and whine, murmur, and complain because they have to pay for training. Okay, this is the only industry that can claim that more millionaires have been created this way than any other form of business out there. This is the only one. And for some reason, it does not occur to people that if it's a 6-figure income, and obviously it's a profession, is it not? This has been my chosen profession since I was 19 years old. I did not choose to be a nurse, a doctor, a lawyer, or a social worker. I chose to be this. And it just made sense that once I got like strong-armed and to go into my first training seminar, it clicked for me. I went, oh, I get it. I don't know how to do this, and I need to learn how to do it. And if I'm going to learn how to do it, I'm going to learn from people that are great at it. Not learn from people who are mediocre at it, but learn from people who are great at it. First person I learned from made $500,000 a month. $500,000 a month. Would you say he knew what he was doing? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Not from people who are making $5,000 a month or $9,000 a month. We're talking $500,000. These are real pros. Are you with me? There's a lot of people who think they're pros, but then there are those who have the proof that they're pros based on the size of the organization that they've built, the kind of money it is that they have made, and what they are currently doing. Yeah. What they are currently doing. So I went to that first training seminar. And I almost didn't go, to be honest with you, because some of you know I was going to blow it. I'm $25,000 in debt. I haven't made a dime in the business that I've been working at full time, right? I don't know what I'm doing. Here he's saying it's going to cost you $1,500 for the entire weekend, including your expenses. You have to go. And I said, well, what if I can't go? Then I won't work with you. I will not work with you. I'm like, okay. Okay, there was a week before the seminar, so here I go. How many of you would do this? How many of you, first thing you would say is, I can't afford it? Can't afford it. Yep, that almost flew out of my mouth. Thank God there was a catcher's mitt on my tongue. Yeah. Second thing that I went through my head was the second thing he told me that if I did, he wouldn't work with me, which was, you know, I have a great idea. Why don't you go to a seminar? Let me have your notes. You come back and tell me what you learned. How many of you would have said that? It's a great idea, isn't it? Good suggestion. Listen, I think I could just learn from you. Third thing I thought about, because that was the first thing, I can't afford it, so he's not going to work with me. Okay, you go, that's an idea, I don't think I better give that to him. Third thing, okay, I will pretend like I'm going, and then like, my car died. I was on my way, but it died, so I couldn't go, but I didn't. I knew that if I wasn't going to go to that training seminar, that I was not going to make it. So I went, and I told you what happened since then. So if you were to live your life by these four things, and I have lived my life by these four things. Dell has a successful model, multi-billion-dollar corporation rated number 1. Have they stopped recruiting? No. What about Microsoft? What about HP? No. What about